To tie the Corrib Mayfly emerger, the hook choice could be easily, it's up to yourself. I'm using this one here. This is the Czech Nymph. It's a size 14, it's quite a large 14, more like a 12. But if you feel that, that's a light wire. There is a heavier version. This is the heavier version. You can get a bronze version of this as well. So if you feel it needs a wee bit heavier, you can do it, you can use it, because I know the trout get really big. And you may want to use a heavier wire. So I'm going to stick to the first one I used. Now, thread I'm going to be using is a dark brown uni. Now, I'm going to be using the waist as a rib, so make sure you've got a good, I would probably say about maybe 8 inches or so. And then what I'm going to do is start at the eye, come to, basically I'm in line with the point of the hook. I'm going to fold back the waist and then catch the tip in. So obviously I'm doubling up on that, tying the way down, and again the way down I'm tying the tail. Now what I'm using for the tail, I actually got it for a cook sale quite a few years ago. It's a Summer Duck sub. Now it's 150, I don't know what it is now. But you see it's a nice colour, so I'm just using up the fibres. And don't be shy with the fibres, a good 10 or so fibres. Length, you're looking at the length of the nymph, it's a good inch long, so this comes part of the body, so we're going to make sure it's plenty over the back, at least 1.5 the hook. Scratch that on the way down. Sometimes easier to do that on the way down, and then we can basically get a nice shape. Trim away the waist, just trim it in line with the body length. Just continue down to this point, we're there. Now the body, what it is, the SLF, the warps they make do the SLF. This is the number 48 natural, you can see it's highlighted there. And what I've done, I've actually blended it using a Lite-Brite, a pearl Lite-Brite. I've just blended it into it. So we use that for the body and the thorax. Just lightly dab it on. I was quite amazed at many people who was interested in this fly, so hopefully this will answer a few questions. And then we just build our body up, working up the hook to basically in line with, just checking here, we want a nice taper in it, it's a big nymph. Let's get to this point, so you can come back on yourself slightly to get that shape that you like and take away the excess. And then bring up the rib. Now make sure you wax this well. And then we bring the rib up through. There we are. Nice and tight. Stroke back anything going forward with your fingers. And then tie off your rib. That way. And then see what it's like. Now I'm going to use some Velcro here just to bring out some of the dubbing. There we are. Now normally I would put a hackle on here, but what I'm going to do is to help float the fly, I'm going to use CDC. I've got 2 large natural CDC feathers. I'm going to form a bubble with it. So basically you line up the ends, natural curve going up and away from the hook. What I'm going to do is take some of the excess fibres. I'm going to use these, once I've formed the bubble, I'll pull some of it back. So I'll pull these together, hold them. You tie them right on the top, so a pinching loop. Pull that in, just going to make sure it's not too long. But leave enough to tie it in, you make sure you can tie the CDC on. Then I'm going to put the hackle on now. Now the hackle is just a nice soft hackle. These are saddles I've got. This is very furnace-like. A furnace hackle would be ideal. So we tie it in by the tip. I'll get 2 flies out of this, so I will. So I'm just going to pull the fibres back to reveal the tip of the feather. couple of turns, pull it back. So it's tucked back, we can trim this away. And then, as I say, you don't need many turns, just enough to give impression. The legs of the nymph, it's quite a thick fibre this, so I'm just going to use a turn or so, a turn and a half maybe. That's fine. Just pulling the fibres back I don't want. As I say, I'll probably get another one out it. Now these feathers are really thin, so I can fold it back. And then I can trim away. Now, just looking where it's coming through, you can see how that's going to bring it down, put some nice legs into it, give it a nice shape. Now we're going to form the bubble, but before we do that, a bit of dubbing. Same dubbing as we've got in the body, just wind it up. Just nice and light onto the hook, onto the thread, sorry. And then, see the distance from the head here, I wanted to start about, leave enough room to tie in. I'm going to tie in the CDC obviously and tie in some deer hair. I'm going to put some deer hair on. It just makes it last a wee bit longer. Makes it more robust. So basically take it up to the hackle, bring it through. Obviously keeping some of the dubbing on the thread. Just check. So you drop there. Back a bit. I say, give yourself a good, use my nail here to make sure I've got plenty of room, a good 1.5 mils at least. Form the bubble, so we pull this straight over, and some of the CDC we just draw back either side of the feather, take away the excess, and then we tie this in. The length, you're looking, the back of the bubble, probably in line with the back of the hook, would suit it fine. Catch this on the top, 3 or 4 turns, make sure it's secure. That's about this ideal. Trim away. Make sure you tie this in, make sure, I usually like to take my thread to the eye and get the thread turns into those cut ends, which is basically slightly folding them back. There we are. Now we can see the bubble. I like to come in with my dubbing needle and make sure it's there. You see. Now you may, depending how good your CDC is, you may have to use 3 feathers. These are natural, so they're a lovely feather. Now I've got some deer hair. This is an elk hair. Just a natural colour, just like a bleach colour. I was experiment with this. I'm keeping it to the lighter side, not too much. I'm going to put this on like an elk hair caddis, so trim it away, spin your fingers, twist your fingers and bring away all this under fur and broken ends, because we're going to stack this. And then tips first into the stacker, tap in your desk. Before we tie that on, make sure you wax your thread. You need the grip. Just checking here, we've got 2 or 3 broken ends there, so we have to remove them. They're just kind of blunt ends, they're quite easy to catch. You can actually catch them with your nail. There's one there. Look for the nice shape of the fibre. Now I would have that slightly longer than the CDC. Just tie that on the top. We do a turn right on the top here. 3, 4 turns is nice and tight, and then the cut ends, just open them. Pull up some of the fibres, bring the thread turn through and tighten. Always keep the thread tight. Up to the eye, and we build up a thread there to make sure it's tight. And then we can quick finish. There we are. So that's basically taking it a stage further. And then obviously there's all the cut ends. Cut it like an elk hair caddis. Gives it a head. There's a decent head on the Mayfly. Just tap it back. You could put a wee bit of dubbing near the head, but I'm quite happy to leave it like that. A wee space there with some of the flash I've got, I think. Use my nail to rub it away. But anyway, fish are not going to see it. And then a wee bit of varnish just onto the head. All the way around and in there. And there we are. That's the Mayfly emerger. Looks okay. So it does. Just letting the tail out a wee bit here so you can see what it's like. It's a tail, but it does give the impression of the part of the body as well. It's the right type of colour. It goes with the body, the rib. Obviously the bubble, the deer hair will give you a bit more, will obviously float the fly. It will last a wee bit longer. Now, personally I would just fish it itself, especially when the fish are, well, obviously flies are coming off. You can target any rising trout. But you could easily fish it with another fly or two. Or even the other pattern, sorry, you could fish this one in the dropper and this one in the point. And that would give you best both worlds sort of thing. But it is a bit different for this one to that. Well, basically that flies within there, I'm just making it float, as you can see. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Again, thank you for watching.